Daniel Ricciardo has decided to join McLaren from the 2021 season, and it's safe to say that the Aussie hasn't met the expectations from the F1 world. We were used to seeing a very different competitive version of Ricciardo, especially when he was driving the Red Bull. Back then, he received the nickname the Last of the Breakers, implying of his ability to brake late and still pass his rivals on a very smooth manner. But it seems like we're only seeing a shadow of what Ricciardo used to be, and this couldn't go unnoticed from the whole F1 world. So why is Ricciardo underperforming for McLaren, while his teammate Lando Norris is racking up very good results? And is there a chance of Ricciardo returning back to the winning path? Also, what does the team boss Zac Brown think of Ricciardo's performance in McLaren? First, a little background insight about Ricciardo and how he got into this situation in the first place. Daniel Ricciardo has joined F1 in 2011, 11 years from now. Back then, he raced for HRT, or also known as Hispania Racing Team. The team had a deal with Red Bull, as he was test driving under the sister team Scuderia Toro Rosso, as the team was driving a Ferrari-powered car back then. After 2 years of showcasing his talent for the Scuderia Toro Rosso, Ricciardo was promoted to Red Bull in 2014, replacing the retiring Mark Webber and sitting alongside multiple-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. Red Bull had invested huge hopes in Ricciardo's development, as it became clear that Vettel wanted to leave the team after achieving 4 championships with them. When Vettel left, Ricciardo was racing with Daniil Kvyat as his teammate, as Red Bull had 2 young and prospective drivers in the turbo hybrid era. Mercedes was dominating the era, and Red Bull were looking in the future for a potential comeback on the championship path. However, Kvyat hasn't met the expectations of the team, as they decided to bring the 16-year-old Max Verstappen from Toro Rosso to drive for the team. Ricciardo was the stronger driver most of the time in Red Bull, but when Verstappen started to understand the role he was given, he quickly started to outshine Ricciardo. Well, the path was pretty much chosen for him, as he managed to win in Barcelona 2016, after the famous collision between Rosberg and Hamilton. So it's safe to say that Verstappen has been able to outshine Ricciardo, and it's not because of lack of talent, but the team has simply chosen to move towards Verstappen as the team's first driver, which of course couldn't be the satisfaction for Ricciardo, as he decided to join Renault in 2018. After a 3-year stint in Renault, Ricciardo has joined the forces of McLaren, as he was paired with Lando Norris, a young and prospective driver who owned a lot of potential. The first year for McLaren was quite disappointing for Ricciardo, as he said that the difference between the cars he's driven is immeasurable, and he needs time to focus on the car and his philosophy. However, Ricciardo in his 3rd year, and the only time he has been able to climb on the podium was on the impressive 1-2 finish for McLaren in 2021 at Monza. The race saw Verstappen and Hamilton colliding into each other at the lower places, so the McLarens weren't really compromised by anyone on the field. After that, Ricciardo's performance has returned to what seems to be normal for him: poor. The 2022 season has seen the same performance from the Aussie, and this couldn't have gone unnoticed from the team's boss, Zac Brown. He had some interesting words to say after the 12th place that Daniel has finished in Barcelona, continuing the bad streak. Lando definitely has an edge. Obviously, we would like to see Daniel much closer to Lando and have a good intra-team battle. Daniel's just not comfortable yet with the car. We're trying everything we can. Again, it was a disappointment weekend, Brown added. Short of kind of Monza and a few races, it's generally not kind of met his or our expectations. I think all you can do is keep working hard as a team, keep communication going, keep pushing, and find whatever's not kind of clicking at the moment clicks here shortly, Brown finished. And his statement couldn't be understood more perfectly. Daniel is struggling, and the team has paid a massive amount of money to bring him here. If you recall the time he signed for McLaren from Renault, he said that his goal is winning the championship title, and he thinks that is possible with McLaren. If you look at his teammate Lando's performance, you'd believe that there is a potential that could be extracted from the car. Maybe not for a championship performance, but surely for a number 2 place on the grid. As of now, the 2022 regulations have seen McLaren struggling with the effects of porpoising, much like the team that supplies them with engines, Mercedes. However, the porpoising isn't the only thing that hurts their performance, as they had really big problems with the brakes too, causing them to go on fire on several occasions. So, winning the championship seems like a far-fetched goal for Ricciardo and McLaren, but is there any hope for future improvement? According to Zac Brown, he believes that McLaren's potential improvement will rely on Lando Norris so far in the season. I think it also points to how good Lando is when you look at the gap between Charles and Carlos, and between Max and Sergio. There are gaps between teammates, and I think Lando is one of the best drivers in the world at the moment. And I think it also is kind of a compliment to how good Lando is when you see the gap that exists. Brown finished. It's safe to say that Brown has a favorite among his two drivers, but could you blame him? He signed a star in Ricciardo, believing that the teams were at fault of him not fitting there. As for Renault, Ricciardo was the one that brought podium after Nick Heidfeld from 2011 in Malaysia. So that surely is a hard thing to achieve for a team like Renault, which are very well known for their reliability issues. That was, in fact, one of the main reasons that Red Bull has decided to part ways with the manufacturer and go along with Honda. Ricciardo also has a huge deal under McLaren. The team is paying him $15 million in 2022, and he earned $17 million in 2021. Lando Norris is rightfully making more money in 2022, as he gets $20 million this year, and it's safe to say that he has earned his money. As for Daniel, it's up to us to wait and see if there is any chance that he could justify the funds that were invested in him. But Formula One isn't just a regular sport, and athletes cannot just perform better over the night. We've seen the McLaren has issues in 2022, and Ricciardo is also facing the psychological factor, which is a really strong indicator of a driver's performance. We've seen how Bottas was able to perform in an Alfa Romeo after he got released from all the team orders in Mercedes, as he finally got the chance to prove himself as a driver. As for Daniel, he hasn't raced in a poor-performing car in years, and according to his boss, time will tell if the Honey Badger will be back on track. We hope that you liked our video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. That way, you'll learn everything about the F1 world and have an insight into the most controversial matters in the fastest sport on the planet.